I'll tell you what didn't sell out. These teams in my top five,
What?
they probably left a lot of empty seats. At least some of them. I got the top five fun teams, and these aren't just specific to football. I only have basketball and football teams on here, but teams that were basically bad but had some talent, were fun to watch. Maybe they were fun to play on a video game. I only have five teams because nobody else's Ty Bob's suggestions sucked. He didn't even know who played. He gave me a good team. Like, yeah, these were a
Yeah.
lot of good players on a good team. Like, that doesn't really fit the bill.
He tried.
Fair enough.
Number five. All right, I'm gonna clear my throat off camera or not off camera, off mic, so you guys don't find me. Who did that? Number five. I got the Lob City Clippers. Blake Griffin at his peak. They might have had a good regular season record, but I'm allowed to put the Clippers on this team or on this list because the Clippers could never get anything done in the playoffs. They could never win a important series if their freaking lives and franchise depended on it. Um, historically terrible team in the playoffs.
Rumor is now that Blake Griffin used up all of his dunks in Lob City
He
since
did,
he can no longer dunk now.
yeah.
Knees are
So
shot.
It's
He's
crazy.
been shot.
I mean, he was embarrassing people. Timofey Mozgov forever, just
What a
on a
time to be
poster
alive.
somewhere. Do you guys remember his like 360 swat? He went up for a pump fake and turned around and swatted the next shot attempt while on the Clippers,
do you remember
while not going to an NBA championship.
The DeAndre Jordan lob on Brandon Knight? The
Mm.
stink face.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember that. He
Can't forget him in the
massacred
dunk
that
competition
man
going over
and
the
his
Kia
family.
as well.
I don't think I watched that.
Oh man,
It was all right.
Blake Griffin was in dunk contest
he was in the dunk contest. Jumped over a Kia.
successfully.
Successfully.
Successful. Yeah, slammed it, dude.
Kia what?
It was not a Kia Soul, don't worry. It was one of those low riders, low
Yeah, it
ones.
was a little car.
Number four. This team was extremely fun. Even they were on the same Madden as 2004 Mike Vick, so they are slept on undeservedly. Probably deserved. They're not that great, but they're pretty cool. The 2002 to 2004 New Orleans Saints. Just mentioned him earlier. We had Aaron Brooks on the team, or did I mention that before show or while we were recording? Existential crisis. Jesus Christ.
During the Immaculate
Aaron,
Grid there, bud.
did we say his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What is wrong with my mind? Uh, Aaron Brooks was doing Mike Vick type shit. Like, he was a right-hander, though. I mean, he could still gun that bitch, and he was. I mean, let's just get the elephant out of the room. He was a black quarterback. He could run the ball. Deuce McAllister, Dante Stallworth, Joe Horn was still around. Deuce McAllister, the running back, had 1,300 yards. Joe Horn had 1,300 yards. That was in 2002. They were 9-7 in 2002, 8-8 the next 2 years. One of these years in this span, they had a game against the Jaguars near the end of the season where if they won, um, I think it was the second to last game of the season. If they won the game and then beat the Cowboys, which they did win, they would have been 9-7 and gone into the playoffs. But they lost this game against the Jaguars. They were down by 7, final play of the game. laterals, all this like crazy stuff happens on the play. They actually do end up getting a touchdown on a legal play, no flags thrown, and then their kicker misses the extra point, so they lose by a point,
Was
and
that
they don't
Morten
get
Anderson at that time?
the no. I think the dude's last name was like Carney or something like that. The kicker, but just crazy athletes on that team. Dante Stallworth was a rookie in 2002. By 2004, he had, I believe, if not 1,000 yards, he was pushing 1,000 yards, and Joe Horn was still playing pretty well for how old he was. 2002 team also had a young Sammy Knight on the team. Shout out Sammy Knight had played for the Dolphins and the Chiefs a little bit later on. Um, but incredibly fun team to play on Madden. I think I started a franchise a couple times with them. Oh, show. Number 3, we got the Warriors team from 06-07. What are they called? The I Believe
We
Warriors?
believe.
The We Believe Warriors? Baron Davis, my favorite NBA player in the history of the NBA, Monte Ellis. You had Matt Barnes, Josh Richardson, a lot of slashers, lots of slashers. Like they were getting to the cup. They were 7 seed in the NBA playoffs, and they beat a 2 seed. That never happens. Very few times in history that happened. Probably didn't make it much further
Not much further at
because
all.
the West is something else, especially back then. Uh, but Monte and I'm pretty sure Matt Barnes and a lot of those guys. That's just a few years before they had like the fully tatted team, but like they still were a bunch of thugs and had tattoos all over their arms. Swaggy team. I got that Monte jersey. Number 2, I got the Barry Sanders Detroit Lions. Pretty much all the years that he played for the Lions. I don't even know if they made it to the playoffs, but Barry put up 1,000 yards every season. Behind just like a truly god awful offensive line. They were bad, but they were fun to watch because Barry Sanders is, in my opinion, the greatest running back in the history of the NFL. You put him behind any decent offensive line worth its salt. Barry's breaking every record, and they're never going to get broken again.
I'm ready and excited to see his documentary coming out.
I didn't know they were making one.
Yep, and he came out and stated that in the documentary when it's released, we'll get the real full reason on why he retired so early.
Because the Lions suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we? Don't kid yourself. Number 1, again, none of my opinions are biased. Like these are just the objectively right decisions here. I got the 2012 Kansas City Chiefs. Matt Cass, Matt Castle, Jamal Charles, Dwayne Bowe. We can mention Tony Moyaki, or we don't have to.
No,
Don Terry Poe,
no.
Derek Johnson, Tom Holly, and Eric Berry were all on that team. Just, hitters up and down the line, but we couldn't win a game to save our life. We were like 2-15 in 2012.
Should have been a lot better than we were. Matt Castle, awful.
Yeah. Was that
Somewhere
Todd
in
Haley
there,
year?
if it's not Todd Haley, it's like right after Todd.
Uh, I want to say that was Romeo Crennel.
Still bad.
Yeah, still bad.
Rough years.
Fun years. Two and
Depending on how you
15.
look at it.
Rough years.
Rough years. It was a long, hard road to where we are today, being the villains of the NFL, and you absolutely gotta love it.